Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first SiegeGG podcast here with myself, Emzo, and Helbee, that you may be familiar with from former Pro League games and been a long-time player. What have you been up to these days in terms of what you're doing, Helbee?
Well, lately it's been the Northern Arena. It was only a Canadian tournament, so I said, you know what, might as well play in it. So we got a team together of friends, people who played Pro League before, mostly in the first year, and strapped a team together and played. Pretty much it.
Sweet. So we're going to be doing this podcast here. I'm not sure how often we're doing it. This is kind of the pilot episode. Probably the only one that won't be live, just in terms of trying to get this test run here. Hopefully you guys like it. Whatever, we're obviously going to look forward to feedback and whatnot, so we can make adjustments in the future. Obviously going to be a bit busy over this next week here with invitationals coming out, which is going to be the topic of today. Is just talking about the invitational, what's going on with that. Hopefully you're seeing this the same day that SiegeGG is also live, so we're going to briefly talk about that as well. But obviously that depends on things going right, so we'll hopefully be seeing you guys on Sunday. Very excited to see the website up, but I will be on a plane, and I imagine Helbee will be busy as well. So
I will be, of course, watching the website as it goes live, and hopefully it's going to be Sunday. I don't have to take the plane to go to the Invitational. It's only a car ride, so about 2 hours and a half. So, it's easy. Way simpler than a lot of players who are going to be busy on that weekend to, travel around the world, pretty much. When you think about people from Australia and Japan, that's a long ride.
yeah, so make sure to come and say hi to Helbee if you see him there, if you're going to the Invitational. I imagine the amount of people that are going to the Invitational also probably the same kind of overlap of people that are watching this, so hopefully you'll see him there as well as myself. Feel free to come say hi.
I'm going to be in a crowd cheering. Let's go, NA.
I will be too during the matches where I'm not casting for sure. So yeah, I ended up doing that with Jarvis last time, just kind of sitting there in the crowd with him, watching a lot of the matches.
Yeah.
He'll be there again, I'm not sure.
I think he is. I think I've seen somewhere the whole Flipside team is going to be there. So looking forward to see them again. I haven't seen most of them since Poland last year around May. Been a while. Too long.
Yeah, it feels like we've had 2 invitationals, but this is only the second one.
Right?
It's already twice as big as the last one.
Yeah. The last one was pretty big. I was there too in the crowd, and I was impressed by, everything around it, especially since it had only been like a year since the launch of Rainbow Six, and now a year later, it's even like crazier than it was on the first year. So can't wait to see it. And apparently the venue is really nice too.
Yeah, I knew last time they said that they were going to have to change venues because that one wasn't big enough, but they weren't kidding. Especially now they're making it twice as big, twice as long.
Oh, what I heard is actually the people who were managing the place where the last invitational was were like, so you're not coming back next year, right? Because it was full. There was a lot of people, and they knew the venue was not big enough. So they were like, yeah, we're probably not coming back. Not because it's not nice, but because we need something bigger now.
Yeah, eventually just all of Montreal will be taken up by the Invitational. So
Hopefully.
party in the streets.
Just fill the Bell Center with people in it.
I still don't know why they decided to hold the Montreal event during winter of all times, when the city was just frozen over, but
Yeah, that's right. I don't know why it is.
did a summertime event next time.
Switch Paris. Paris during the winter is way nicer than Montreal. So Paris during the winter, and now Montreal during the summer. That's something I can get behind.
Maybe year 4.
Year 4, yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty long invitational because last time, we had the normal weekend style things. I mean, normally a finals is only 2 days. Invitational is 3 days, but this time it's 6 days because they're bringing twice as many teams and then eliminating half of them during the first 3 days when people aren't even there. That's going to feel bad for fans of those teams that get eliminated that won't even get to see them.
But it's going to be fun because the people who are going to be there are actually going to be able to interact with the pros. Because what are they going to do? They're going to most likely come in a crowd, cheer the people who are playing, and just, talk with people.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. You have 8 teams that won't even be playing over the weekend, just hanging out.
Yeah, just chilling. Ready to answer question. I'm sure there's going to be, panels there with, the next update, Operation, not Outbreak, but Chimera. There's going to be computer probably with this previous LAN there was. So
people will be testing the new operator.
yeah, it's going to be your chance to actually play with some pros in person.
I have a feeling it's mostly just going to be NA again, all drunk over the weekend.
No loser bus, please. No losers bus. No. That's a big no.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think at this point, we all hope to see NA at least make it farther. Elevate being the one actually who's been the surprise to kind of carry the torch. Like last time Elevate came as a third seed, and we're like, they're not going to make it. But they're the ones who always show up on LAN, unlike the other ones, and actually kept the NA dream alive for a minute.
They definitely show up on LANs. I don't know what it is that the other team don't get. Maybe they don't have stress or anything, but they're always super impressive to see play on LAN. And the tricky part for them is always to get there. Once they get there, it's like they're crazy. Don't ever underestimate them. And now that they got their confirmed spot, I think during season.
Well, they got this
season 2.
The fact that they made it to
final against Penta. Was it season 1 of this year or season 2? I can't remember.
I believe it was season 2 because I was there. The only one I missed was season 3 finals, which was the Brazil one. So.
Right. Oh yeah. All right.
So yeah, I mean, good on them. And now that they're picked up by CLG, I'm hoping they actually practice before events.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't seem to need to compared to the other teams.
Yeah. Right.
Funny enough, I imagine that motivates you to just be even lazier when you can get away with just showing up and playing.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with Elevate, they're always a little bit slower to pick up new meta. But since the last operator were not super meta changing, I'm really expecting Elevate or CLG now to perform really well at the Invitational. Last time they made it to the final against Penta was during Operation Health, which was a season with no changes in the meta.
That's a good point, yeah, whether or not they can adapt to that stuff. It reminds me of, because they have another sort of rival team that'll be there, which is Supremacy. And I say their rival team because it goes back to the Xbox days. And both of them having almost the exact same roster they used to, maybe change one person. And so it's like they have this sort of parallel track they've taken to get here. And both of them tend to play older school. Like you look at Supremacy really stick to the old operators. They don't play a lot of new meta, a lot of new operators. They really stick to kind of the original year one ops.
Yeah, and Supremacy is also a team I'm really looking forward to see play because they have their own play style, very different from the average team and how they play. And it's going to be interesting to see how they bank on it, see if it works at all. It's always breathtaking to see them play because everything happened in the last 30 seconds and it's just all right, 5v5, 15 seconds left to go. How is it gonna end? No one knows.
Yeah. I feel like if I'm playing against Supremacy, I'm just gonna be bringing Echo every time.
Yeah.
In hopes that last 20 seconds you can burn. Smoke, all the traps you can find, just slow them down as much as possible at the end and don't even really roam.
Yeah, it's I'm really looking forward to Supremacy. See how they do. If any French team can come on top of that tournament, I feel like it's going to be Supremacy.
Well, I think the community feels like it could be Vitality since they
pretty big movement behind them. A lot of people voting.
Obviously, this game being of a pseudo-French origin, I think helps build that big French scene as well, and then being in French Canada and all that. But we saw last Invitational. When it got down to the wire, the French teams cheering for each other and stuff like that from the audience, we had just a big crowd cheering everyone on. It seemed like there wasn't too much salt about losing from the French teams and stuff, which I think was good. I hope they can bring that this time.
Yeah,
because they can't all win.
Yeah, no, they cannot all win. That's for sure. The thing is with the French community, they're super competitive between each other, but once they rally behind a team, it's crazy. It's beautiful to see go. It's pretty much the same thing with the Brazilian, and I'm just gonna take the last Invitational as an example. The team that was invited was Santos Dexterity, and they had a lot of fans there, and it was crazy. And their team lost, they were still cheering at the final for Continuum. That was beautiful to go to see.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is there's a lot more Brazil teams this time.
Yeah,
The last time there was one. There was supposed to be two, but one of the teams couldn't make it. But that's where Supremacy actually came out at the last second last time. But this time they were invited, or got to come. But
there's more team too.
Yeah, the sheer amount of Brazilian teams compared with the last time, and I find it kind of funny as well. Like talking about teams that are coming from last time. That I mean, it's unfortunate that Cryptic couldn't make it. But seeing Mind Freak here again with some of the same people from back when it was Xbox that they were coming from, I think it's pretty cool to see that kind of full circle now that APAC's part of it as well, along with the previous Santos Dexterity team. I think if I remember correctly, the Font guys that are phased now, a lot of them were the Santos Dexterity team there.
I think you're right. There was some changes, but I kind of lost track along the way.
I know, right? The Brazilian swaps around like Black Dragons, BRK, which one's which now?
Which,
yeah. Like those like rotations around the same few orgs get a little confusing.
It was a little bit messed up, and hopefully a website like SiegeGG is going to allow me to keep track of it.
Yeah, plug, right?
Wink, wink.
Yeah, but no, seriously, that's definitely...
But it's actually crazy. There's like 4 teams full Brazilian. That's a lot. They definitely do something well in the scene.
I'm really thinking it's going to be interesting, though, with like 6 EU teams. Like, how do you not have an advantage coming into that, just off sheer numbers? Because you can drop more of them during the group stages and still have strong ones playing into the... So I have a feeling, numbers-wise, come the weekend part, it'll still be majority EU unless they really kind of slack off.
Yeah. I think you're right. And even for coming back to the Brazilian, it's 4 teams, but you also have BRK, who's actually making it, which is going to be interesting. I don't know what that show match is going to be about, but looking forward to it, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if they'll get any kind of prize out of it or not. Probably something.
I mean,
look at some alpha packs.
Travel expense paid to go to Montreal. That's good enough in my book.
That's true, and it probably is a little cheaper to fly people from Brazil than, say, halfway across the world.
Yeah, probably. But I like most teams in Brazil anyway have good salaries and good like life condition in general when it comes to playing professionally. So just having like the right to travel like that, and even if it's just a show match, just having the opportunity to like interact with other professional players from around the world. I mean, it's a nice relation to have. You never know when it's going to be useful.
Yeah, I mean, I heard, hopefully no one really has visa problems like they did last time.
Yeah.
And I think I did hear that one member of BRK won't be able to make it because of that.
Oh, really? That sucks.
I think that's what I heard. I mean, I wouldn't go off that as a confirmed thing, but I think I remember reading that maybe it was one of the guys on BRK just that won't be able to make it just because of visa issues, or passport issues or something, because it was so last minute.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
And I think it was also a problem for Delan, who was in Sao Paulo. Like, I heard some people that were having problems with visas.
Oh, even us casters were having to like scramble to make sure that we could get visas in time. I mean, I obviously didn't, but it came down to the wire to find that out.
I think Milosh had some problem with it.
He's always having visa problems.
Yeah.
From a country that's not looked favorably upon by the world.
Yeah, that's true. Poor little man. I'm glad he's okay to come to Montreal though.
So yeah, I think he's got most of that straightened out, so it should be good. Because I'll be casting with him probably the entire 6 days.
All right. Okay. So it's gonna be you and Milosh and Intero and Kix.
Yeah, I mean we tend to stick with those pairs. Like we've mixed it up a few times at the casting.
Yeah, they work great.
Yeah, I think we just pretty much usually stick to that just for simplicity's sake, and it makes it easier on the viewers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But who knows? If stuff comes up, we might switch it up for fun, or because of logistics issues or something. But in general, it probably will be that for 6 days straight. So eventually, we'll just be sitting in each other's laps by the end.
You'll be best buds.
No, we already are. Like I think, I mean, Milosh may be new to the desk in Pro League, but we casted both the finals that I casted last year together.
Yeah.
Year 1 or season 1 and season 2. So I think we have a good synergy, and I think Kix and Taro, as most people agree, have a really good synergy as well. So I think the pairs are working out pretty nice for this.
Oh yeah, as a viewer, I think they are. Definitely are working nice.
It's gonna be 2 10-hour days, then like another like 10-hour day, but not all the way on, and then just anyway, it's just a lot of casting.
Oh, it's gonna be. I'm seeing maybe one or two casters with like voice problem by the end of the week. It's like a long week.
Yeah, I've got him analyst instead of play-by-play because
Yeah.
I can not talk during some of it, whereas Wheeler's gonna have to talk the whole time.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's like from Monday to Sunday with about from 10:30 to 5:30. There's probably gonna be some delay, so it's gonna be maybe 6. No, the last game starts at 5:30, so yeah, it's gonna be a long week. It's a lot of hours.
Already the invitationals were always the longest. It was like 12-hour days usually, so to throw another 3 days in there without breaks this time, it'll be hilarious.
Yeah.
So I will be definitely trying to rack up some sleep during this, that's for sure, at the hotel, because it's going to be intense.
It's going to be hard.
I do wish that people could attend the first 3 days, though. I have to say, because like that's going to be really good and it's going to be really intense, and like you're not going to be able to watch both streams at the same time unless you multi-twitch.
Yeah. So. I was when I first heard there was going to be like a full week of no spectator, I was like, maybe I can sneak in. Maybe I can just come early to Montreal and sneak in, but I have to work, so I'm just going to be there Thursday night, so be there for Friday. On the first day of the Invitational, that's actually the playoffs, so the viewers can be in.
Maybe next Invitational there'll be more of a open for the first part or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah.
We can charge more for tickets and make more money.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be the next one is gonna be this summer in Paris, right?
Yeah, I mean, August is like the end of summer, but yeah.
Yeah, well.
I don't know what the weather's like though. Hopefully it won't be too hot in Paris. I know August could be a little up there.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be interesting to see if they keep that format with, is it 16 teams? Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if they keep that. Yeah. Or just the way they do, like, kind of a season before and then playoffs.
I gotta say, it's gotta kind of feel weird for teams to have qualified for the Invitational, and normally that meant you're there for the final 3 days, no matter what. Now that there's a group stage, just because you qualify doesn't even mean you make it to the days last 3. And that's got to be, if you think about it, kind of mentally harsh, because the 3 days are the ones people are there. That's when all the energy is. That's when all the viewership is. That's when the panels are. Like, that's when everyone's really going to be looking. If you are, like, coming into this expecting to be a superstar towards the end of the stages and you get knocked out in groups, as half of them have to, like, that's got to feel bad. Like, because some people have to go, and, like, I don't think it's all going to be the late invitees. I don't think it's going to be the people that were just invited or just community votes. There's going to be people that were previous champions.
Oh, there's going to be upset. There's going to be upset for sure. Now,
just off what we saw from qualifiers, right? Like, we can't predict any of that.
Yeah, exactly. Or even just the last season. The last season was filled with upset for me. I was like, all right, I see Evil Geniuses, Flipside, and I think it was CLG after that, maybe Rogue. My order was Evil Geniuses, Rogue, Flipside, and then CLG in that order. I was like, all right, I'm glad I didn't bet anything, because that I just fucked up.
Yeah, when Infamy took Rogue's spot, and like Flipside aren't in there, and it's like, what the heck?
I was all right. Well, whatever. I'm bad. I don't know how things happen.
And then even Ents winning, like, very unexpectedly. Like, I mean, that's kind of weird to call an upset, because we've been expecting them to one of these times for 2 years now.
7 times the charm. Yeah. But it's good to finally see Ents, the online Ents, be at LAN. Before there was always those two entities. There was Ents online and Ents at LAN. Ents at LAN was like very chaotic and not super well organized, filled with like team kill and just weird decision making. And then online, it was just perfect. It was like good. They were strong. They were playing together. Everything worked. And then finally, we got to see Ants online at LAN.
Maybe one of them stinks really bad and tilts the rest in person.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe they just don't get along in person. He's too frustrated. I mean, it's ironic though for them to finally get that win and then lose Shate. Like, what? That's gonna suck. Like, you finally find the guy and it's like, cool. Now let's take away one of our good players.
The timing was really not weird, but
well, it makes sense for Penta to go, hey, they just beat us finally.
Yeah.
Take one of your best players.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's going to be also interesting to see how Chate fills the shoes left by yes, if he's going to adapt well. And same thing for Uno, who's going to now be playing on Ants. Feels like Chate's shoes are huge to fill.
Ironically enough, too, it's from someone from Penta Academy, so it's like they kind of swapped.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, someone coming from the academy, obviously it sounds like Ents is getting the worst part of that deal.
Yeah, I mean, he's a young player. He's most likely going to surprise us than upset us.
But then it's funny, you send KS out, so it's like, oh no, they lose KS, but then he goes over to another team, and all of a sudden now they're in it as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, you can't get rid of KS that easily. He'll still be there. So I was thinking about it, and it would be pretty funny if 1UP beat Penta, because it would be a revenge story for KS on a team that used to be called My Revenge.
Yeah, you're right. I think
days, I thought that's perfect, right? Like,
that's perfect.
Justice. I always love a good revenge story in these games.
That's very poetic.
Yeah. They were Mysterious Monkeys last season as well, for people who aren't really following what I'm talking about. But they were originally My Revenge before that.
Full German team, too.
Yeah.
100% German.
And then they'll go up against, hopefully, another German team, right? And beat the actual German team. We'll see, though, because 1UP will have to get past Evil Genius. So, I don't know, maybe we'll just talk about the actual brackets here.
Yeah, sure.
We'll hopefully have the bracket graphics here for you to see. And starting with Group A, which is already like a super intense one, because it's the two people that people are expecting to make it are obviously Penta and Evil Genius. And the reason for that being Evil Genius going back to Continuum, were two-time champions. They won the last Invitational and the season before that. Then the next two seasons after that, Penta took and kind of knocked Continuum/Evil Genius out of their spot. So it's like both of them are two-time champions with something to prove here at this point, going up in the same bracket. So if both of them win their games, we're almost going to see this everyone's a little disappointed by it, because we could potentially see one of them knocked out on like day 2 of the group stages before they even make it to the weekend.
Yeah, the way I see it, so the first game is going to be Penta Vitality, and then Genius 1UP. I think Penta's going to win, so they move up. And Evil Genius is going to win, they move up. Then Penta EG, I don't know. I hope EG is going to show up more than they showed up on the last LAN, which was an upset for me. I was expecting much more from them. But either way, I still think Evil Geniuses or Penta is going to win against the loser of Vitality 1UP. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see Penta and EG. I think it's it's a safe bet to say.
Yeah, going to be Penta. Double elimination, there's a chance that we could see both still.
Yeah.
But I mean, that feels bad for 1UP and Vitality, which were both invites.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people though were like, why did 1UP get it? I think 1UP will play a really good game though, regardless whether they win or lose. I think we'll see why they were picked once it comes down to it. Just because I think, having watched them, they were just getting their stride.
Yeah, now they have some experience, more time together. I mean, when they did the qualifier, KS basically just joined because he got pushed out by Chate just like recently before that.
I mean, Chate's kind of filling a similar role too, which I think worked out pretty good. So I don't think that will be like a bad thing for Penta, as much as it hurts, Ents.
Ents, yeah.
So, I mean, obviously Uno seems to have been doing pretty well, but I think the last LAN event they played, they weren't doing super great, but that was before Uno joined in. I think it was before Chate left. That was, I think, the Nordic. So it's hard to say. Like, I don't think they've played any LANs, as far as I know, with Uno.
I don't know. I haven't been following a whole lot since qualifiers ended.
I guess the hard part is, so Ents are a team that have always had trouble at the actual LAN events, right? Last time they finally were able to kind of get their act together in terms of performing at LAN. But now they've got a new player on their team who probably doesn't have any LAN experience, and so they might have to go through that again. So it's going to be an uphill battle for him.
He's going to have to go through nerves, and, you can prepare for that, though. It's, before the game, just get some time for yourself. Get in the game. Just breathe the air. Just get into it.
Yeah, I'm hoping the group stages will act as a good warm-up for some of these teams without bodies there.
Yeah, exactly. The group stage is going to be good, so I feel like we're going to get the best game later down the week because stress is going to like wear out. It's going to like they're going to be playing for Monday to Thursday, so that's 4 full day or of being on stage. Even though there's no crowd, you're still at LAN on a computer that is not yours, on a desk that is not yours, on a chair that may feels weird compared to what you have at home. So this takes some time to get used to it, and I think the teams that are going to get out of a group stage, they're going to be ready. They're going to feel just like home.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know if the seats and stuff will be the same as the ones they play on the stage as well, because I think they might be played in a different area than the stage. So yeah, there's a chance that they still might have a little bit of shock going into the actual final stages. But I mean, I don't know. The funny part is the team Ents is up against first. So if you look, we're looking at the Group D bracket. They're up against the other team that was amazing online and just completely poor performance in person. So that they were another team started with the Excellence, I believe they were last time when they came in, and they were a team that had one map the entire season online, came in and just got destroyed. I mean, they had some hiccups in the roster, but
and then like half an hour later, Penta was done with them.
Yeah, that was I felt bad casting that one because that was one of the shortest games I did that whole weekend.
Yeah, that was short. They were clearly not ready for LAN.
And that was unfortunate too because they were obviously a team that had been accused sometimes of being ping players, and that really didn't help that reputation.
Oh yeah.
But I think it was just they came down to being far less prepared than Penta were. I don't imagine they're going to make that mistake this time, and now they've got someone with even more LAN experience in having K9 on there, who's been at plenty of these.
Well, I don't think anyone had any experience on LAN from the old Excellence roster, not on Rainbow Six anyway, because the game feels very different on LAN than it feels online.
I think there was one member because it wasn't Geo. Because Geo hadn't even played on previous LANs with Elevate because he'd always bailed and they had Bosco or someone else.
Yeah. He always had something that prevented him from doing so. You're right.
I think maybe they had no one. Unfortunate, but they do now, so I expect that they're going to perform a little bit better this time going into that. But again, Ents has also got a little bit of a struggle.
Well, it's pretty much a different team now. Like there was a lot of switch on that team. So I don't think we can really call Era the old Excellence roster because there was a lot of changes.
Yeah. I'm just hoping to see my man show up because he's someone that's shown up really well online sometimes. I don't think he necessarily was prepared to last time in terms of like being prepared for the other team, and Penta was just I mean, Penta have Shaz, and Shaz is a great coach for doing a lot of work on the fact that they played so well during the previous online probably showed off a lot of what they could do, and I think Shaz and team broke it down really well.
Yeah,
and
that's
not going to be the case this time.
Shaz helps them to be like mentally ready, like a whole lot, and I think that's a huge part of why Penta is so successful at LAN.
Yeah, I mean, I think last time as well too that I think maybe the success had gotten to like Fabian's head and some of the other ones is a little too much, and so I think they were not prepared to work as hard for that last one, and so I'm not too surprised they lost the last time because of that. I think after a 2-time victory like that, you're going to be a little big-headed at that point in terms of like, oh, this is easy, I can do this work, but you forget all the preparation you did to get into that place in the first place and kind of disregard it and then don't work as hard. And I think hopefully the loss last time has motivated them to go back to what they did the previous 2 times that they won.
And they have to fall at some point. They cannot like win them all forever.
Well, so far no one's won 3. So we had Continuum with 2, Penta with 2. Penta was the only one with 2 regular seasons because Continuum was an invitational in a season. But yeah, so
and they still hold the title. We're going back for that title, by the way, and he's going to win.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, NA holds the world champion title for this. So, and it's funny too to have Canadian on a team and being the only Canadian on that team.
Right. Yep.
Appropriately named, kind of points himself out. Here I'm the Canadian.
Hey, there's a Canadian. I mean, the sad thing is there's only 2 Canadian too. The Invitational.
Yeah. There's a.
I looked into it and I was like, oh my god, only 2 Canadian for real? It was like a lot of like American for NA, but I was expecting more Canadian.
One Mexican.
Hopefully we'll see Pojo and Jarvis back on LAN soon.
Yeah.
That's 2 Canadian right there.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a chance they'll make it back. I mean, we have the same pool of like 20 to 30 NA players that kind of just shuffle around. So
pretty much.
I do think that now that we have bigger orgs involved, like CLG and Evil Geniuses, though, you're going to see a lot less shuffling. Even CLG is basically back to the old Elevate roster for the most part. Like Geo switched out and came back, and Continuum Evil Geniuses is kind of stabilized for the most part as well.
Yeah, I think it's slowly starting to settle to be more stable. The roster in general.
The Challenger League, I think, is going to be the big shuffles in the future. I mean, you look at teams like Vertical and some of the other ones that just
it's like pick someone comes back, and it's a little bit messed up right now. But Challenger League is on a weird spot right now, where they announce all these great things about Pro League, then you have Challenger League, which is the only way to get in Pro League that is like being kind of frowned upon because there's nothing new. It's like the same price pool of, I don't know, like $5,000, and that's about it. Like, it's hard if you want to make it against teams that are actually paid salaries, and you're like this player in Challenger League who has to go to work or school full time and then try to play by night and try to compete against people who do that as a living. It's hard.
I think if you can continuously prove yourself in Challenger League, though, that increases the chance you'll get actually picked up by a real org and have the salary to make it into Pro League, but
maybe eventually.
You gotta get faith of like a big one.
But like maybe also, I think they announced they wanted to do some other lands that are not related to the Pro League and Challenger League.
Yeah, DreamHack.
DreamHack.
DreamHack has NA stuff, and I know that's something that's been discussed for a while. But I think they actually committed to trying to do that this year, is to have at least an NA DreamHack.
Yeah, and that might help for those teams.
Hopefully, yeah, because it's something they can more reasonably make it out to. I would like to see, a lot of Challenger League teams show up for that, especially if it doesn't require qualifiers, through Challenger League or Pro League or whatever.
Yeah.
So that there's a separate way to qualify. I mean, we saw with this last set of qualifiers that there's some strength in some of these Challenger League teams that if they could just
definitely. Just looking at Reckless here. It was a wild run. It was beautiful to see them go and just beat team after team and be like, everyone was like, okay, that team's going to fail, like, first round, whatever, cool. Then, next thing you know, they're in finals against Era. And you're like, shit, maybe it's happening.
We'll see if they can hold their roster together. There's definitely some members on that team that tend to carry a bit more. So if they end up with too many roster shuffles, we could see that kind of synergy disintegrate.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see the first Gamer Girl in Pro League.
Outside of Kicks.
Outside of Kicks.
Just kidding.
Outside of Kicks. I love you, Kicks.
Yeah. What's up? So yeah, I mean, obviously that's kind of the Group A and some of the Group D teams, and then Group B, I think will be interesting as well because you've got Big Team and Team Liquid, right, going up against Room Factory, the first Russian team really kind of in here as well, and then Rogue against the Australians, kind of making a comeback.
Yep.
It'll be a very interesting international sort of bracket there for Group B. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's easy to think that it'll be Liquid and Rogue going.
Yeah.
Right? Rogue haven't necessarily always shown up as of late. I feel like that's a little iffier because Mindfreak have started to show up quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Once they picked up Rizraz, they've been showing up a lot more, and I think seen some pretty good consistency of play from those guys from those last APAC finals. So it's possible we could see a little bit of back and forth in that bracket. I mean, Liquid over Room Factory, though, I think is still probably a pretty good bet, though.
I think it's a fair bet. And also, I would very much like to see the Rogue we've seen before. The last season was pretty bad. It was not what we expected from them. Now they switched out King George, so, you have to build a little bit of chemistry with Easily. And seeing how Easily fits in the grand scheme of things for Rogue, I'm looking forward to that.
And I think Easily might have some LAN experience previously with Elevate.
Yeah, I think so too.
So he might be decent to come in there and do that because obviously the rest of them have that LAN experience.
Yeah, he was in Poland when I was there, so definitely has some experience.
I think it'll be pretty good composition for those guys as long as they can kind of not get too tilted. And as we were talking about before we started recording as well, you've got losing King George wasn't just losing a player; it was also losing the IGL. And now you have SlashHug stepping up as an IGL, and that should be interesting because as we talked about, Slash doesn't always come across with the kind of personality you'd expect from an IGL. but he has a lot of game knowledge and pretty good game sense when he doesn't make very brash moves. So I think it'll be interesting because we haven't really seen necessarily how they play like that yet.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll also see Eclipse shine as much as he did in last season. And hopefully the team behind him is also going to shine as much as him. Because it was kind of crazy how single-handedly he was keeping Rogue alive.
He's definitely, I think, probably my favorite NA player. If not, then top 2. Like, he's such a good, consistent player.
Even with Buck. Even with Buck, with the most inconsistent...
He almost pioneered Buck play.
Yeah. Beautiful to see going. Definitely looking forward to that.
The stuff he does on Oregon, I think, for example, was something that kind of started a trend as well. Like the way he would play under the white stairs and push people out, or just like, I don't know, like a lot of his Buck play, I think, is kind of the start of the show, and I expect we'll see more of that. But he also plays some other really good roles too. So if they can kind of let him do his thing really well, and then Slash step up on IGL
and support him in the process of doing so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously we know Slash will get those cameras up to get the intel. It's just a question of whether or not he's going to get a little greedy with them.
Yeah. Definitely looking forward to that. Even, like, Team Liquid. Just logo Liquid being played. I want to see that. I'm looking forward to that just because it's Liquid.
It'll be interesting because I think Brazil has an interesting meta bringing into this. So, like, there's a lot of talk about, for example, the Glaz Ying meta kind of dominating things. Everyone's scared of that. That's like the big, like urban legend on the streets is like, oh no, it's gonna be Glaz Ying everywhere, and we saw a bit of that during qualifiers. But if you go back and look at Brazil play, like they are the Glaz kings. Like,
oh yeah, it's scary. It's even super scary.
I feel like going into this, Brazil's gonna have a huge leg up, and they're not even playing the Glaz Ying meta. They're just playing Glaz. Like I was watching back at some of GCR's play on Glaz on Consulate. Is just. The dudes are nuts. Like him and Cyber. Unfortunately, Cyber will only be on the show match, right? But he won't be on one of the competing teams necessarily that's in the brackets. But just some of those guys on that Glaz play, I think we're going to see a lot of Glaz, even if it's just from Brazil this time.
And as much as I'm going to be cheering for NA. I think it's time for Brazil to actually win a title.
Yeah, I think so. Well, especially going in with as many teams as they are as well too.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for it.
And they're all very good team, filled with like all-star player. It's crazy.
Yeah, the top kind of 4 teams from Brazil are all just packed full of good players.
Yeah.
So it's like I mean they've kind of consolidated all of the good players into the top 4 teams. Like out of all the weaker teams, like Pain and Merciless, they didn't do that great, but let's take all the good players and somehow transform them into these super teams.
It's crazy.
Because it's like players that you didn't think were that great before because they were on teams that just weren't doing well.
Yeah.
When you put them all together and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this is 4 strong teams right here. Brazil, like every other region's got to be a little worried except for EU because they can lose too.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Liquid, Zig, Nex, Bullet, Nesk, Bullet, Uke, and Sexy Cake. It's like, I know all these names. I've seen them like forever, and they all do crazy stuff in game. Then you look at Black Dragon, Psycho, PCD, Julio, Kamikaze, and Wag. Again, all names everyone knows and are familiar with because they're crazy good.
Yeah. Not to mention they have a lot more LAN experience than most regions because they play so much LAN there.
They do.
They're in such a tiny region. I mean, I know Brazil's not like an island or something, but they're all basically within one region. It's not like NA where they're all spread out. So they all work together personally, all know each other. Even the ones playing against each other probably played together on a team at some point or have been in person together a lot.
I mean, they have their own pro league too, so that's a lot of experience right there. And they definitely played more games than any NA and EU teams, probably even combined because of that.
I think their scene there for Rainbow Six 2 is bigger than anywhere else in the world. So
it's big.
As much as I hate to say so, just because I want to see some other teams do well, this is probably Brazil's time to shine. You'd think playing in Brazil would have been, but nonetheless, I think they will.
Yeah, that would have been crazy to see them win Brazil, but
everything would have been set on fire.
The thing with Brazil, I feel like the way they practice against team is they focused really heavily on the next team they're going to play. And then if the team does something different, they don't adapt super well. That's how they usually go. So if the team is predictable and does everything like they anticipated, they're gonna like crush them. It's gonna be actually crazy and sad to see them like crushing them so badly. But whenever there's like something like changing and they're reacting to it, I feel like the Brazilian teams more often than not don't react as fast as EU team, for example.
Yeah, I think it's and I said in the little interview that came out today as well that like I think the team that can adapt the best is really the one that can come out champions because the meta is just so all over the place. Normally with an invitational, you double the amount of teams and increase the amount of like region teams from different regions. Like I hesitate to even use the word meta for because it's going to be so all over the place. So like you're really going to need to adapt. I think we're going to see something we see a lot, which is where like strong teams will lose the first few rounds, just kind of figuring things out, and then come back like 4 or 5 rounds in a row. I think we're going to see even more of that this time. So it's like, yeah, who can adapt the best? And that's going to be, like you said, kind of Brazil's Achilles heel, is if they can't kind of step up and adapting, like they could lose a good chunk of their teams in the group stages.
Yeah, and that's kind of why Penta was like dominating those past season. He had strategy that worked for pretty much everything, but those strategy had like a very defined like structure, but it was kind of loose on how you execute it. So they could react to whatever the enemy team was throwing at them.
They seem to do the most research probably of most of the team. I mean, I would say any team, but at the same time, like a lot of teams have stepped it up now. So it may not be of any team. There's a lot more coaches, a lot more analysts now. I know, like, for example, EG's boot camping right now.
Yep. So they've been boot camping for the past week.
Yeah. They live this game now, for sure. I think Canadian is about as driven as he possibly could be at this point.
Yeah.
Not go home with the L.
He has a title to like get back.
Yeah, I mean, he's been trying and trying. At least he made it to land last time.
Yeah.
I just the times at the desk when we're joking about, okay, this will be the last time, and you see him again the next time, it's just like
Canadian on a desk.
Yeah, poor Troy.
Poor Troy. Well, I mean, those 2 seasons were not the best for Continuum back then, but I feel like they've stepped it up. They figured their things out. It took 2 seasons, but look at them now. They're looking good. They're looking strong. And if any NA teams that have any chance to win the Invitational, I think it's going to be definitely EG.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. But then again, like I definitely wouldn't rule Counter Logic out.
Oh no,
we've seen them just show up.
Definitely.
If they put in more effort this time, I mean, again, maybe effort works against them somehow, but if they've put in more effort this time, there's a chance we could see them go even farther than we're used to. I mean, last time that we saw them go all the way was them against Penta at the very end. So I have a lot of faith in them and EG. Rogue, I would like to put faith back in, so I hope this is the land where they really show up, so I could be like, this is why I've been, excited about watching them play the last few times. I don't like being so disappointed seeing them go home day one every time.
I'm definitely there with you. And about CLG, do they have a coach?
So I know there was like internal discussions about maybe
grabbing someone,
but I don't know if CLG has given them a coach or not, because the Skies was kind of acting as the coach before.
Yeah.
Kind of in charge of everything. So I don't know if that's been taken off his plate or not. He seems to enjoy doing it though, so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have one yet. But nonetheless, I imagine if they go home losing this time, Counter Logic will be like, you need a coach.
Maybe, yeah. Now that you have a structure behind you, sometimes you need to give back a little bit and listen to what they're going to say, because they're giving you a salary and allowing you to do what you do.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we'll see. I think it's getting to the point this year where if you're a pro league team without a coach, you're at a serious disadvantage. And I mean, that's the way it should be when it's at a good esports point. You shouldn't just be a bunch of players just playing from your bedroom hoping to make it big one day. You got to take it serious.
And especially now that they're changing the next season, how it's going to work. There's going to be more match being played, so that's more data that you need to be like crunching and just trying to adapt to new teams.
Not to mention, if you get dropped out of Pro League, you have to wait 6 months for...
Yeah, you don't want to miss the bus. You don't want to miss it.
I mean, I guess it'll be better for the orgs, as long as the orgs can keep their teams in Pro League, because then that's 6 months of having your team in Pro League without a chance of them being relegated out. So...
Well, even for the viewership, having 6 months a season that you're going to see every team play against every other team, it's going to be nice.
That's such a big help for us as analysts, because, like, the current structure that we had before was so hard because we come into these finals events having seen 2 or 3 games with a team and being like, well, I hope they play somewhat similar to what I've seen. Otherwise, I'm just shooting in the dark here. And I feel like going to the Invitational is extra hard like that because I haven't seen Evil Genius play in a while.
Yeah, we haven't seen them in a long time.
So it's really hard. Like I'm definitely going into this Invitational a lot more blind than I'd like, just because the sheer amount of teams that I haven't seen play in a while. Not to mention the new operators, new potential meta stuff.
Yeah.
It's really good to be calling. But the advantage is I get 3 extra days to watch before the final 3 days to get
You're
an
right.
idea what's going on. So.
Also, I mean, there's a lot of teams that haven't played in a while. You just look at Penta. You haven't seen anything from them since Shate joined. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
I hope Black Dragons have at least been able to play some LAN events down in Brazil to kind of stay warmed up for this.
Yeah, it's been a while since they qualified, right? They qualified through winning their region. Is that it?
I believe so, yeah. So they kind of haven't had to play in a while. I imagine they played last finals, if I remember correctly. I think so, because that's how they got in, right?
Yeah, they're in their spot through by winning.
Too many damn regions now. This is so hard.
That's a lot of games.
I'm almost glad it's only 2 APAC teams because Jesus, with so many regions to be back of already. But at the same time, I feel really bad because you've got EU with 6 teams and APAC barely makes it in with 2, and we haven't even seen Eins play in a while, and they've switched up a player or 2. So it's going to be hard for them. I mean, Mind Freak obviously coming in a little fresher, but Eins have really kind of proven to be a strong, like, stick-around team. And I think, if I remember correctly, they did pretty well in Brazil, given how kind of written off the APAC teams were.
They did better than Excellence anyway. So, for a team that everyone expected to be crushed, any team got crushed even more, so.
Yeah, I hope in the future, though, like, we will see more APAC teams involved and stuff like that. I think regions, it's not, like, completely, like, to the point some of the other regions are, but I think it's evolving fast. It's just really, really hard for them having the ping issues they have by all being so segregated from each other and with bad internet. Like, it's a bad spot to be in for a region because the geography kind of screws you.
But now, I think Eins was included in that, but the Japanese player are actually going to be able to collect their prize pool.
Yeah, that was a big deal for Eins.
That's a big deal.
Eins plays 3 LANs without the potential to win things because they played they played one where they qualified and it had a prize. Then they played the season one where they cut out a prize.
You pretty much had to say, I can't take it. So I'm basically traveling around the world playing video games just because I can, because I enjoy it. And
this is the 3rd LAN for money. At least they can hopefully win it this time.
Yeah.
Because there's basically by making it here you get paid. So you always kind of have to forego that. They have the pro license. I'm assuming it applies to this.
Assuming.
So, if Ubisoft planned for that, because the plan was usually to just have the prize pool as it was and then divide up what they would win among the other teams.
Yeah.
Which I mentioned the other teams liked Eins being in there because
right. That's more money.
Please play.
Be my guest. Bring more team from Japan. Come on in.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good to because it means more regions can really dedicate the time. Like you were saying about the orgs, like the salaried players versus Challenger League. Now Japan can take it a lot more seriously.
Yeah.
It's been a great thing for the country for esports.
I mean, just last year, seeing Envy at the Invitational, I was genuinely surprised by how well coordinated they were together.
Well, they were really close to making it this time as well because it was down to them versus Mind Freak as Cryptic this time.
Yep.
So they almost made it here again, which would have been great. But again, either way, it's someone from last time making it here because it's either Mind Freak or them.
Yeah.
So, that's cool to have them back. But it would have been great if there was a way we could have both of them back.
Now with the new format, there's going to be more games, and it's going to be hard to keep track of every game and just watch everything.
Yeah, I can tell you now, like, at the end of this 3 months of the season, when it comes down to doing the finals, I'm going to be spending, like, the entire 2-week gap between the end of the season and the finals just trying to catch up on every single VOD that I missed.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, like, I'm going to have to take more notes during the season just to make the postseason not
as bad. Not as heavy on work.
you guys can only imagine like how many VODs you have to watch through and carefully take notes on stuff to try and then you throw in roster changes on top of that between like it's just.
Yeah, usually I watch the game live and take some notes, and the one I didn't feel like taking notes because I was tired or whatever, I usually go back and watch and take some notes again. But it's usually mostly NA and EU. I watch most of Brazil too, but like APAC, I just don't have the time. And now it's going to be even worse. I'm going to have to fit it in because I feel like APAC is going to, get like take more and more space in the scene overall and just show up more.
Especially now that Japan can get paid to do
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. I mean, that's all I'm doing outside of this podcast. I'm pretty much just marathoning VODs.
Yeah.
Trying like before I fly out. So it's gonna be interesting. And again, though, those are only gonna be so useful as there's just so much that's gonna happen that we're not really prepared to see. Because you take the fact that a lot of teams haven't played, combined with the fact that a lot of teams save strats for this.
Yeah.
It's just, and then there's the new ops that they've had the chance now to figure out, but maybe didn't during the qualifiers.
Yeah, I don't think the last ops that were introduced in the game were that meta changing. So we might see them occasionally, but I don't think it's going to be such a big deal.
I don't know. I mean, like Canadian makes a big deal of Vigil, for example, but we haven't seen a ton from that yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen them play at all. So
Yeah. So I imagine scrims maybe that's taking place.
Oh, definitely.
We haven't seen a lot of teams really running Dokkaebi outside of like KS seeming to like it quite a bit.
I've been toying with Dokkaebi a lot recently, playing Dokkaebi as an entry frag, which is weird, but
entry frag with the DMR is a weird.
No, the thing is, the SMG-12 is nuts. It's like 33 bullets. It's like full auto. Close range, it melts people because the fire rate is super high. Long range, you can most likely just switch to the DMR, and if you want to flush out roamers, you just call them. You're like, hey babes, I'm coming, where are you?
Yeah, that's what, when I was talking to KS, it seems that that's a big part of the way they use it, as well as for last minute pushes.
Yeah, I mean,
well
the way I see it, you have Dokkaebi. You use one overcall to, flush out roamers, get rid of them, like, easy, they're dead. It's basically a live ping of their position, so you should usually be able to get on top of it, unless, like, something crazy happened. Then you just set up your push, and just before you go plant, you're like, alright, I'm gonna call them. So you smoke, she has smoke, you smoke, you put a glass somewhere, like, that's gonna be annoying, in the middle of the smoke, and then you call them. So glass know exactly where they are when they're pushing in, if they're coming, if they're waiting, and if they're spending, like, 5 seconds just, like, closing their cell phone, well, they're not trying to kill the guy who's planning. So I feel like
where if you get Glaziing Dokkaebi smoke push plant, it's gonna be
Glaziing Dokkaebi plant push. Oh my god.
You're gonna see a lot, and then you get say the Ash is still alive, rush from the backside.
Yeah, something like that.
Like Oregon plants are gonna be ridiculous for that.
It's gonna be disgusting.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of smoke at this Invitational for sure. But I mean, I don't know. And then I think we've seen Zofie, for example, played actually quite a bit. Not something that was like a big meta shift, not something that was like really noteworthy, but still played. And actually acting as a fairly good entry fragger because you've still got like the ability to open up walls the way say the Ash's breaches do.
Yeah.
You can kind of pinch roamers easier because you can set up paths on your own rather than depending on defensive.
And it's faster sometimes too. If you need 2 holes like really close to each other, you just you're done. Holes are made.
But it seems like I've seen a lot of the actual concussion grenades been useful for pinching roamers. So when you get to the point where you've got a roamer cornered and they are holding an ambush point, where if you try and push them, it's going to be a situation where they have an angle held because you've pinched them into a corner. Hitting those concussions because you don't have to cook it like a grenade seems like to be working pretty well. So I think we'll see a bit of that as well.
And the thing is, you have 4 of those concussions, so you just want to get sometimes you don't need them. So if you just want to get rid of ADS, you just throw them in there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, then you have the X-Kairos that can do that as well. Like,
yeah.
I feel like I really feel strongly that Jaeger needs.
He needs it. He needs a buff.
3 charges per ADS. I think that would really help because the current meta you see so many grenade kills now.
Yeah, you see more than I think Ubisoft was kind of aiming for that by reducing the amount of barbed wire too.
Oh, yeah.
Grenades were only used to clear barbed wire, pretty much.
Yeah, nice. Zofia and Ash being able to do that fairly easy, combined with Sledge and Buck as well with nades.
More often than not, you see one Ash and one Zofia, so you see both of them.
Yeah, so I think Barbed Wire's seen its last days, and then they took one away from Bandit as well too. So it's just like
it did.
Barbed Wire's kind of slowed down quite a bit, which means rush plays are a little more viable towards the end when you don't have to try and clear wire.
Guy's definitely happy about it. His playstyle is like completely like right the less barbed wire there is on a map. And traps. Absolutely. Even though we have traps still. We have Ella, by the way.
I still think Legion isn't super overplayed, so it hasn't been a problem. I think Legion's being kind of underplayed for denying plants.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that you can't press F to plant. So like there's a lot of situations where people rush in to plant. And having those in the like, so for example, say Oregon basement, right? Let's say they're not running a Thatcher and they're going for those smoke rush plants. You save up a whole bunch now that you can charge faster on your goo mines. Save up a whole bunch and then throw them to deny the plant area when they go for that smoke plant.
Yeah.
You can be in a situation where they just can't plant in time because of. I mean, those don't stack though. When you pull out one, you pull out all of them. So.
Yeah, you really need to like put them before they try to plant though, because if you like throw it at them, it's gonna bounce on them on the side, and the hitbox that you need to hit to walk on it is very, very small. You need to be on the very top of it.
You could there's some good spots you could hit pretty easily. So like for example, next to the washing machine, you can hit easily through the smoke. The other side of the little laundry basket in the corner thing you can hit by bouncing it off the wall through the smoke. So like in theory, if he's got a couple saved up and they pop smoke, he can still throw them in that general area. I guess Thatcher is really the only thing that's going to stop him from denying plants with those. And Glaz, obviously. If there's a Glaz left alive, peeking out to throw those is pretty much signing your own death certificate. But
yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully we see more maps than we've seen in the past seasons.
I think we're going to have to. Like, I think teams are really going to...
I think teams are going to be ready, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, and that's why I think you're going to see more oddball maps pulled out in Invitational because they have to, because the meta is more established on certain maps.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, we saw at a previous Invitational where Skyscraper wasn't a big thing until Invitational, and all of a sudden everyone was pulling out Skyscraper. Mostly NA, but, like, it was like, that was the map to pull out because that was kind of the wild card you could catch people off guard on.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't see too much Cafe.
Yeah, I'm really hoping not a lot of Cafe.
Cafe is really boring now. It's just, take top, take piano, take red, go down.
That map has always been boring, let's be honest.
Yeah, hopefully it's part of the maps that's going to be updated, because, they said a while back that they were updating some maps, so hopefully it's part of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few maps that just need to be a little more interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll be news. And they haven't been forcing new maps into the pool. So maybe it'll be a decision to go back and rework those, or even rework some of the new ones.
I'm not convinced Tower would be a good map to play competitively on.
Honestly, everyone hated Border first too. Let's be honest. It's so easy we forget that everyone hated Border and thought it was a terrible map for competitive until Mira was introduced.
Yeah, Mira was a big deal breaker for a lot of maps. It was like, this side is not viable. Oh look, I have a one-side mirror now. Maybe it's good.
Yeah. It's one of those gadgets you really didn't expect to change the game much until it did, and then it's hard to see how it did.
Yeah, well, it's a strong position, and the nice part about it is it enables some other bomb site. Just looking at Flipside Tactics, Cash Room in Clubhouse, it's only viable because there's a mirror, or two for that matter.
Yeah, I mean. We'll see. I think Coastline is going to be the map that's going to be the go-to wildcard this time.
I think so too.
It's a map people know how to play, but at the same time isn't overplayed.
Yeah, exactly. And there is still a lot of interesting stuff that can happen on this map. I don't feel like we've went full circle on it. Just during the season, I was watching I Don't Know play on it, and I was surprised that I learned a lot of stuff by watching them play this map.
Yeah, they seem to know that one pretty well. I expect, and Millennium as well were really strong on that map.
Yep.
So that and Bank are going to be the interesting ones to see.
Bank.
And obviously, the ones we expect are just Oregon and Clubhouse and Border. But I think because those are so overplayed, we're going to see all of a sudden surprise Banks and Coastlines instead.
Definitely down to see more Banks. And whenever I think about Bank, I think about the Invitational last year, when Continuum played against the Brazilian for the first time, and then Canadian just got, I think it was a 4K straight away, first round, bang. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Very excited.
That was a good way to start it.
Well, the Brazilians have been pretty good on bank too, so it's
oh yeah.
Brazil and EU have always been better on bank than NA, so that's I hope NA are a bit more prepared for that this time. Like you said, Canadian having a good game on that last time, it means EG might be well prepared for it, so it might be a little more challenging to take them on it. But I feel like some of the other teams, like I'm not sure how Rogue holds up on bank, for example. It's going to be hard, and I think it's going to come down to like roam play and roam control and stuff like that on those kinds of maps. So that's where we still may see a lot of Jackal, but outside of that, we may not see too much of him.
Yeah, Jackal really was like put it forward because of bank, but I think it's pretty much the only map where you really kind of feel like you need it.
Yeah, I mean we've seen him sometimes on Oregon.
Yeah.
Maybe occasionally on Border, but bank is kind of his map.
But you don't see a whole lot of like roaming happening on Oregon usually, or if you see it, it's in meeting. Even if you have a Jackal, it doesn't change a whole lot.
When we've seen it done well, though, it can really change the game. Like in terms of like just having good flow and game sense and timing. If you can hold your roams, like that map is actually very hard to take if you can't control the roamers, because we've seen time and time again, if a roamer's left alive, most of the time your take will fail.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. The flank is something you need to be careful with, and if you decide not to go after the roamer, you need to plant fast and clear the side and take a defensive position, because otherwise flanker is just going to kill you.
Yeah. I'm hoping to see some fun rush plants in Invitational, though.
Oh, like in the APAC one.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Hey, boys.
30-second map win.
Yeah, that was good. It's like, all right, boys, there's no one on site. Just open the front door, go down, plant, take site, and yada yada, you're good. Round's over.
There's going to be opportunities for that, because there will be people for some reason that play full retake or full roam for the most part, and then just will be caught off guard by it. And so it's a question of whether or not some of these IGLs and good drone work can catch that out and take advantage of opportunities. If that can, I mean, this is so high stakes, they really have to be on top of that sort of thing. So I can potentially see some of that happening, some really exciting moments where teams just fully capitalize on a small mistake made in defensive setups.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of cool plays at the Invitational, especially since we haven't seen a whole lot of team play. I'm really hoping for, like, not weird, but new and novel ideas about how to hold one bomb site that we're so used to hold.
Yeah, right. We want to see like a chalet master bedroom or something.
Yeah, chalet master bedroom. Count me in. I'm down.
This is its time to shine. We want to see that happen.
Or even the first time we've seen chalet bar. That was interesting.
Yeah, now that's kind of a little more established.
Yeah, right.
Less of a weird thing now.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit less frowned upon and looked at as a weird, like, off bomb site. It's not picked a whole lot because basement and kitchen is just too damn good compared to it, but whenever shit hits the fan, bar is probably your go-to.
Yeah. I feel like we'll see some CEO on bank as well, like, which is not as weird as it used to be either. just like Game Room.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those ones that's like, that was a weird idea at first, but enough has been established now.
Well, again, was it Flipside when playing the CCS?
Kind of pushing that originally.
Yeah.
Like before that too. Like they were the ones who always kind of pushed that. I mean, they still haven't improved Bakery, but
yeah,
pushed some of these other ones like CEO.
Yeah. There's definitely some off bomb side, and I remember screaming them a while back, and they had a strategy for in border tellers and bathroom.
I think we'll see EG pull that off. I think
yeah.
I expect at least once we'll see them pull off that bomb site.
I mean, just looking at Penta, that was coming with new bomb site to hold that were probably because Bacon was on Penta back then. So I'm hoping he brings some new and cool stuff to EG. Really looking forward to that.
There's definitely some stuff I'm hoping to see, but I feel like sometimes the meta evolves a little slow to catch on to things. But this is the time to like really see the adaptations and new stuff of that. So maybe stuff that's done during this will like trickle its way into the next season, just because like, wow, we didn't think about that, and just the amount of attention that's going to be poured on these matches. Although like it's going to be hard because I'm not even going to see half the matches during the group stage, for example, like because I'm going to be casting.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna go into like the finals ones and be like, I have to go home and or back to the hotel and just watch the match.
I haven't seen them play yet.
Yeah. So like depending on which ones I'm casting, I might even miss an entire team's play throughout the entire group stage.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a big week for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of note taking.
Is it?
Even when we alternate, I can sit there and watch the match going on.
I'm assuming in the playoff, it's going to turn back to one game at a time, right?
Yeah, so I think it's only going to be 2 days of 2 streams. I think because the first 2 days of group stages will be the A and B streams going on.
Oh, and then you're going to have some teams who you know already they're out, right? By the second day.
Yeah, so I think the third day will just be a single stream again. So I think it's only 2 days of that craziness.
Oh, okay. So it's not as bad. You're gonna be able to catch your breath.
But then 3 more days of craziness.
Yeah.
Not as
not as bad.
Yeah. And keep in mind, I'm not complaining. Like, this is very exciting. It's just going to be very exhausting at the same time.
Oh, I just remember last year, as a viewer, I was exhausted by the end of the Invitational. The Invitational was only a weekend.
Yeah. Whenever you see out the audience, like half of them were gone half the time because it was so exhausting to watch.
Yeah.
They had to kind of walk around the lobby for a bit, come back, because you're sitting for like 12 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was like hard, and I'm just sitting there, just cheering at people, and I was exhausted. So I don't imagine how the casters and players are.
I'm really curious where the casting desk is going to be because, I mean, last Invitational, we did have the casting desk by the stage. We had it actually out in the open. That was really cool. But we haven't done that since, or really before, for the most part. And so that's always unfortunate because, like, that energy of the crowd, like, you could hear it in my voice. And the Elevate versus Vitality one, where like that's the one where I'm actually screaming with Bloodbath practically, like
yeah.
Hyped up at that point.
I remember that. That was good. It was like the main stage, and you could see on the side, just on the side, not the spectator, but the casters desk, which was nice too because you could hear them, but you could also see them like move and just talk on the side of the game. Yeah, it was really interesting.
I don't really know. I mean, I don't know what the setup's going to be like. It could just be analyst desk out there again. It's just kind of what we've done since.
Yeah, well, I've seen picture of like the interior of it, but we have much more information than that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll find out when I get there, I guess. That's what we have rehearsals for and stuff. But I do hope it's by the crowd though, because that's always so much more intense with that. But if not, like at least the analyst desk will be. I'll probably just be hanging out in the crowd during the matches that I'm watching instead of playing.
Yeah, from what I've seen,
I mean, maybe they wouldn't be able to actually run this for 6 days yet, but I feel like come year 4, it's going to have to be like a 6-day event for the audience, too.
Yeah. Definitely counting on it.
Speaking of all that, like, I think I just want to kind of transition to talking about SiegeGG, I think is going to be a big help for a lot of this stuff. Like, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but it's something that I was trying to do with Breaching Siege. Was never really able to get to that point. And I think people like Finster and Chanka and stuff like that have been able to kind of push things more than I was able to, and so I'm like actually really excited to just be part of and help this stuff just get out there because it's going to be an insane year for this game.
Yeah, and I mean just by the sheer amount of games that are going to be played, it's going to be hard to keep track of that game, who plays against who, when did they play that game. Okay, so I want to watch CCS, I want to watch Pro League, I want to watch Challenger League, I want to watch everything. Where do I watch it? Well, I think everything is going to be there.
Hopefully it'll help with stuff like where do I watch this or where do I watch that?
Yeah, I see those questions a lot.
The Challenger League was always a big part of that, and finally there's a Challenger League channel, so hopefully everything will be there. But I honestly don't know what the plans are for Challenger League yet, so I'm hoping to get a chance to at least help out with Challenger League in some way, because that's always something I enjoyed helping out with, and I know Milish did as well. So hopefully it'll be a good year for that, but I just don't know what the plans are yet. Obviously, we'll have our hands pretty full, though, with Pro League this year.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. You don't have time to cast Challenger League anymore. And I think we've seen a couple people saying on Twitter that, hey, I'm now a new community caster, so I guess these guys are going to be able to cast Challenger League.
There's a lot more people wanting to do it now, so hopefully we can find enough people that are watchable.
Yeah. Or listenable to.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'm not, but at least I slipped in early when there was listening.
Don't be so harsh.
But yeah, I think it'll be good. Hopefully, like I think the betting thing. I know it's not for real money, which is good actually right now. But I think that I'm a big proponent of having some kind of skin in the game, making a game much more interesting. I always tell people the story of I don't really care much for regular sports, But there was this app I had called Preplay that would let you kind of in real time like bet points on the game, but you could like bet on specific plays, like what was going to happen this play or that play, and it made me like 10 times more engaged in the game. And I did the same thing with some of the Sliver.tv watch and win betting for CS:GO stuff. So I don't know, I feel like it makes you much more engaged because you're invested in the outcome more so than just being a fan of the team.
And I feel like this is something that's missing with the whole Rainbow Six scene is getting like the spectator engaged in the game.
Yeah, I know
really,
the fantasy stuff too gets in there.
Yeah, because right now there's really nothing like pushed forward by Ubisoft. Even the players, they don't market them at all. Like, how do you see a pro player? It's like, yeah, he's that pro player. But that dude also, he has hopes and dreams, and I want to know about it. I want to know he's human. I want to know he is like me. He has hopes, dreams, struggles, and all that stuff.
Yeah, hopefully. If not, there's some robots out there. That's fine.
Yeah, there is.
But, I imagine this year's, even just from, not just from SiegeGG, but I think also Ubisoft's going to push for a lot more of that this year. So I think overall, you're probably going to know too much about the teams and players by the end of the year. You're going to be sick of hearing about them.
Yeah, maybe. I'd rather be sick of hearing about them than just not knowing anything.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Like, I assume it's not a conflict if I'm betting as well on stuff. So I'll probably somehow be wrong every time, despite it being the logical choice. I'm looking forward to that as well. I enjoy doing those, the kind of pick and wins for like the 8-pack ones.
Yeah, it was fun. I did too.
I encourage everyone to kind of like, hopefully the site's out at the same day you're watching this, but I definitely encourage everyone to check it out. Not just because we're part of it and biased, but I think it's going to be really cool, and I'm excited about it, which is why we're doing this, because we're excited about SiegeGG.
Yeah, well, probably wouldn't be casting under that banner if I didn't think it was good.
Yeah, definitely. So I hope that will be good, and then once the fantasy stuff comes out, which I think will be a little bit later, once they've kind of worked out the stuff from the betting system, and I know they might have to have made some changes as well because of the league system changing as well. So there had to be probably some adjustments for that.
Yeah.
They announced that so far ahead of time.
There was still a lot of things to be announced by Ubisoft about how the next year is going to work. I mean, we pretty much only know that there's going to be more game, and the first season is going to be a buffer one, but aside from it, don't know much.
Yeah, I imagine like going into that 6-month season will be pretty different.
Yep.
How things play out, but it's hard to say. Like, I feel like I just find out stuff the same time everyone else does at the
sometimes. Yeah. You know, the guy is casting and he's on the desk and he's like, wait, what?
I guess if all I have to do is show up and talk,
yeah,
work. But
I mean, yeah, you're right.
But it'll be good. I'm always expecting like stuff that they don't announce ahead of time to be like, because they always do that. They always pull out like extra stuff on top of what they were preparing people for, to the point where like even though they leak stuff on purpose now, like it's still not the full thing.
Yeah. So sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes it is wrong. Some leaks are just straight up wrong.
Yeah, I'm always interested in like in terms of like whether or not they're accurate, but I don't usually pay too much attention to them for the most part because I feel like if it's a leak, it means it's information I can't do anything with right now anyway.
Yeah, right.
Because whatever, but
most of the time I know what's coming anyway. So
yeah, I don't live in Canada like you. So
yeah, I have that big opportunity and I take it.
You just camp
with two
outside their dumpsters.
Oh yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm like, Yubi, can you like invite me again? That was fun last time.
I'm just passing through town. You mind if I stop?
Do you mind if I stop and play the whole thing for the next month?
But it's good there's people like yourself as well to kind of give them some extra feedback early on.
Now they're getting pros and a lot more people than before, so there's that, and that's good because they get like more diversified opinion about what's coming.
Yeah, I mean that could be a good thing. Bad thing. Some opinions are a little more, a little better than others. But.
Yeah, you need a good diversity of it to get the whole picture.
I feel like they've been doing a pretty good job for the most part. Outside of Ella, I think most of the stuff that they've done has worked out pretty well.
I still don't understand why they won't remove the 40 bullets.
I'm pretty sure that was just a case of like, let's not mess with it too much before Invitational.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if some were done after.
But I don't think anyone minds if Ella goes. Not a pro player is going to be, oh my god, I'm so sad. My strategy was only relying on the 40 bullets Hell has. I don't think that's
It's more
happening.
like Blackbeard, where it's kind of nerfed to the point where it's like balanced and only picked when it makes sense to.
Yeah. But yeah. It just keeps saying it's because she's unique. Well, make her unique in a better way than giving her 40 bullets.
Yeah, we'll see. Unfortunately, it's probably still going to dominate quite a bit of this.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know. LAN is a different environment too when it comes to how 3 speeds play and stuff like that. So
that's true.
Might not play the same.
I've heard before when I was talking with Canadian at some point. I think he said NVK was playing Ash, and Ash is a 3-speed, but on LAN, he's playing Sledge, and he's having much more success with Sledge than he is with Ash.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Like, I mean, I don't think you're going to see skies changing when he plays, but yeah.
Yeah,
Overall,
well,
like, it's definitely a case where it plays out very differently. Like, the only time we can reference it really is talking about shooting C4s out of the air, but it all does feel very different at LAN. And
it does.
That's part of the problem with teams without LAN experience. It's not just the crowd and the pressure; it's the way the game plays is different.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things different. Like the hit reg is better. 3-speed are not dominating as much, and you can shoot C4 midair fairly easily. So if your strats relies on you shooting C4 in the air, good luck, because people are going to be able to shoot it down.
What's funny is not a lot of people do this, but if you time it right, you can actually EMP them out of the air with that.
Yep.
It doesn't happen very often, but
whenever it happens, it's always a blast.
Literally. Yeah, so we'll see. I expect this to be a pretty interesting invitational and different than the rest. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll be back to talk about it a little bit more in the next episode of this. I'm not sure when we'll be. Maybe we'll try and record some stuff for fun during the actual invitational since we'll both be there. But
definitely trying to, but
you'll have more time than me, so maybe
I will.
But nonetheless, I think we've probably gone for a while here. But so we'll kind of wrap up with that.
Wrap it up.
You guys on the next episode, give us some feedback. I imagine this will be on the Reddit as well as on the website. I'm not sure if there's comments going to be available on the website, but make sure to anything you want to say about it, as long as it's not too mean, or if you're mean, give a reason.
Give a reason, yeah. If you're mean, just say why.
If you're justified, it's fine. Or if you're just trolling, that's fine too.
Well, it's part of the job, having some trolls on your back.
You have a thick skin, right, Helbee?
Yeah, I do.
I read the Twitch account when I cast, so I'm fine. Nonetheless, yeah, so we'll be doing this probably a little more organized in the future ones, but this is just kind of the pilot episode. Wanted to try it out here.
Right, and I think the next time we'll probably be doing it live on Twitch too.
Yeah, so hopefully we should be able to get like live comments or something.
Maybe.
Or just people telling us to shut up and get to the game.
Yeah, maybe. That too.
Yeah. But anyways, thanks everyone for watching this, assuming you made it all the way to the end without just skipping.
I hope not.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me, Helbee. It will be us to next time as well. We may have some guests in the future as well, depending how we organize this. But
yeah. Again, this was just a pilot. Trying stuff out.
Next time, maybe no shirts.
Oh.
All right. With that, we'll see you guys later.